exposure to the cold and wet February weather, which had dropped to well below freezing in the evenings. Despite the efforts of the medical personnel, Marie was pronounced dead at 5:06 p.m. She was 53 years old. The coroner concluded that Marie had been in the woods for 24 to 36 hours before she was found, leaving the question of where she had been from Sunday, February 22nd until Tuesday, February 24th or Wednesday, February 25th. He also described the progression of hypothermia and what had happened to her. Once body temperature drops below 98.6 degrees, the body speeds up breathing and initiates shivering to generate heat. If temperature continues to fall, blood vessels in the arms and legs shut down, redirecting blood to vital organs and causing the extremities to become colder. Metabolism speeds up in an effort to create heat. Once the body temperature drops to 94 degrees, breathing slows and becomes shallow.